Now, creating an alert dialog is very simple in Android, but before that, we'll just understand that what are the different kinds of a dialog and how can you use them. So let us understand. So alert dialogs in Androids are of different types. You can have a title kind of alert dialog. You can have something downloading, and you can also have a date picker dialog. So it is all up to you. So if you want to display a dialog that's something you are downloading something big, then what you could do is that you can use this progress dialog. And if you want to give a message and based on that you want to take some action, and if it is there are 3 button, you can have a 2 button as well, you can have a 3 button, you can have 2 button, or you can have 3 button. Either is possible. So this is called alert dialog, and based on this you can associate some action on this one. There is also possible to associate some action. If the user clicks positive, neutral, negative, you can associate an action as well. Now this is time picker dialog. Depending on what the user will select, here you can put an action. So for each of the alert dialog, all these buttons can be associated with some kind of a action so that you can take the action. And then this was time picker, this was a date picker. It is all up to you, very nice, ready to go. And complete UI, this complete UI you don't have to worry about because this is given by Android. This screen don't need to do it. No need to design this dialog. Design dialog UI. Dialog UI is automatically created for you. So you don't have to worry about that, how to create this nice looking UI dialog and all. It is all created. You have to just use the proper classes. If you want to use that kind of, then alert dialog class. This, if you want to create this kind of a dialog, then use the time picker dialog, date picker dialog. So all the UI is already created. You have to just use them by default. Obviously, you can create your own UI dialog, but the ready-made and all is pretty good for that. So I would say ki, if you are interested, just go ahead and do that one. Now, what are the various classes and APIs used in the alert dialog? So as I mentioned in the previous slide, all the dialogs are coming from the base class called dialog. Okay, and then there are various kinds of dialog. It starts with an alert dialog, and then you have a date picker dialog, you have a progress dialog, you have a time picker dialog. So all of these classes you have to use in your program. Once you use these classes, you can use them and create your own dialog. So these are the various dialog API. You can go and check it out. So, and I have explained you already previously that if you want to see all these classes, you have to go here and look into this one. So android.app, and you see here there is a dialog class. Okay, so this is the dialog class which I am referring to. So you can read little bit more about this. There are various classes and methods for dialog in this one, and this will help you to understand these things. Now coming back to this one. What are the dialog use cases? There are various use cases of a dialog. Application, like you are developing a calendar based application in which you want the user to select the timing of an event starting or closing, or you want to develop an application where a start date, end date, or some kind of a date or time manipulate uses. In those kinds, these dialogs are extremely useful. You should not try to reinvent the wheel and create your own screen for the selecting date, selecting time, showing the download. All of that you should not do yourself. Use the ready-made, already inbuilt dialog in Android. It makes your development of application much easier. So alert dialog is used by almost all applications for some kind of a confirmation dialog. So it is like One usage is obviously calendar based application using date and time. The another dialog is used by almost all applications for some kind of a confirmation. Hey, do you want to go ahead? Are you sure you want to do this? Do you want to do this or you want to do something else? All those kind of a thing. The third most important usage of a dialog is application doing some long running task like downloading a file and you want user not to do anything. Obviously, if you are doing some long running task and you want user to go ahead, then you will be using a background thread or some kind of a service. But if you want the user to wait for some time before it does complete that, then you can show that dialog download file kind of a thing, or make web service call, etc. could use progress dialog as well. So these are the various usage or use cases of a alert dialog in Android. Very useful things. Now what we will see is that how I am going to create these dialogs. It is very simple. Let me just show you the second screen first. So what happens is there is a method called show dialog which is already there implemented in activity. You just need to call it. What happens is that this show dialog, couple of important things. So there are two methods. One method is called show dialog and other method is called on create dialog. Okay. And let us understand this slide because this will give you an idea that how the dialog creation and flow happens. Once these two methods you understand, then it is very easy. So show dialog, it is already implemented in activity. You just need to call it. So you will just say show dialog int some integer. So let us assume that you have 10 different dialogs. And all of those dialogs need to be created inside on create dialog by using those classes like alert dialog class, time picker dialog class, date picker dialog class, progress bar dialog class. Using those classes, you will be creating here. So it is like created here inside this. So dialogs are created here and you should put some kind of a switch or case statement, like if it is case statement 1, then create date dialog. If it is case 2, then create time dialog. Okay. So all of those dialogs you will create inside on create dialog method. Here you will just pass like this, show dialog 1. Now if you do show dialog 1, what happens? The moment the show dialog 1 is called, the control flows from here to this one as 1 and then it comes to this point and it will show you the date dialog. Now if I want to, if here I say show dialog 2, then what will happen? It will again come to here with 2 and this time it will trigger this one. So basically what happens is that show dialog is the method which goes to on create dialog and picks up the right dialog depending on the implementation inside and just show you the dialog. Now where is those actions, right? I said that there will be an action for each of those dialogs. Those action and everything is inside on create dialog itself here. So let us see this flow, that how it happens and how the dialog is created. So here I have a very simple class. Before that, let me just give you a little bit about the structure of a dialog. So same thing, I have created a class called public class dialog activity extends activity. So what it basically does is that it just explains you how to create dialog. Now in this activity, I am not doing much. Very simple example. I am just saying that there is a button and in this button when you click, it will call this guy, show dialog 0. Now that show dialog 0 will call on create dialog. Okay. Now inside on create dialog, this is the way to create a dialog. This is the syntax. Now in this syntax, if you see, there is a class called Alert Dialog.builder, and this is where things happens interestingly. Alert Dialog Builder class. This is the class which is responsible for building the complete dialog, and this one, it has built depending on how many buttons and all you want to do. It starts with basic thing. So these are the basic common things, common, and then these are the two dialogs, two buttons, 1, 2. So this is for button 1 and this is for button 2. Okay. So if you see, the set positive button means there is a button, and for that what you want to do, everything you can do. So basically it will say set positive button, this, and this is the message what you want to display. New dialog interface on click listener, on click, and if you want that somebody clicks the button 1, that action of button 1 is here. You have to write it here. Action for button 1. If you want to do something when people click the button 2, that is negative button, you have to write it here. Action for button 2. Okay. So set positive button r.string.alert dialog OK. And where is that message which comes on the button itself? Let us assume that on the button itself, so let us see this, right? So I will have two buttons, OK and cancel. Now where is OK? How are you putting OK here? This OK is nothing but, if you see this guy, this string is same as this string. Okay. This string is same as this string. Cancel this. So if you want to put here, tell me yes or some other thing. You create a string. You know how to create a string in the strings.xml, that resource directory values is strings.xml. Inside that you can create something like that, r.string.alert dialog OK, or anything, and put whatever value you want. So this is the way to create the buttons, and positive button, negative button. So you have understood that how to give a label to the button, how to provide an action to the button. Once you understand this part, it is very easy to create a dialog button, alert dialog, and that's what it says. So very simple way to create a alert dialog in Android. Now let us see that what we are going to do is that we are going to use this dialog concept to ensure that how to use this one. Okay, so now let us understand that how. In our screen, what we are going to do is that we are going to use in the expense activity, so we have expense activity item. So use of alert dialog in our traveler assistant. I will call it TA. So what we are going to do is that we have created an activity called expense item activity. Okay, expense item activity. In this one there is something here, and then there is something called add expense and cancel. So what we are going to do is that in this one I will attach a alert dialog. Every time, the moment somebody will click here, it will launch an alert dialog. Okay. The moment somebody clicks add expense button, it will launch alert dialog and it will say, do you want to add more expense? Yes or no. If it says yes, then I will do the same thing what I was doing here originally, and if I say no, it will do the same thing what I was doing here originally. So basically the same add expense and cancel, but by using the concept of alert dialog. Okay. So let us now go back and check about how the alert dialog and cancels will work.